What's going on, boys and girls? Another routine, job done, workman-like performance from the Arsenal. 2-0 away to Burnley, and we move. Look, to be honest with you, I was expecting nothing less than a comfortable win last night, and that's exactly what we got. I think that first half in particular was just a really solid performance from Arsenal in what was relatively awkward conditions in the sense it was a bit windy. Burnley were playing quite nice football at times, but we just kind of stayed patient, didn't really look in any danger at any point in that game. Scored two really nice goals. Obviously, the first one being off the back of a set piece. Great to see Gyökeres get on the score sheet. I actually think Gyökeres had probably his best 45 minutes in an Arsenal shirt, if I think about it. I think he did everything right whenever he had the ball at his feet, which I don't think I've been able to say so far. He got a goal. He had some really good moments on the ball. That through ball to Trossard, which led to the second goal for Declan Rice, was a beautiful pass from Gyökeres. And I was really disappointed to see him go off at half time. And I really hope that is nothing too significant because we are dropping like flies at the moment, particularly in the forward side of the team, and we just don't have anyone to naturally replace Gyökeres right now with Havertz, Jesus all out. So I'm really hoping that was more precautionary than anything else. I believe Arteta said it was a muscle. He felt a bit of a tweak in a muscle. So yeah, hopefully it's more precautionary and he'll be right. I don't mind if he misses Slavia Prague, but obviously you want him ready for next weekend's Premier League game against Sunderland. What else? I thought Saka was pretty disappointing. He had two chances that I would have expected, particularly that first chance where he was one-on-one with the goalkeeper and he kind of shot it straight at the goalkeeper. I was really disappointed with that. I thought he should have done a lot better then. And that should have been a goal, in my opinion. The second chance where he kind of got a good shot away and the goalie made a good save, I think you can kind of let him off for that one. But that first one-on-one chance he had should have been a goal, no doubt. And at the end of the day, they need to go in the back of the net. That goes in the back of the net, the game's wrapped up, and we sit back. Now, obviously, Rice went on and scored a beautiful header to make it 2-0 in the first half and did exactly what Saka should have done. But you'd like to see Saka putting those in the net. Just quickly on Declan Rice, I thought that was a 10 out of 10 performance. Honestly, I know a lot of people talk about Gabriel as probably our best signing, and pound for pound in terms of value of money, you probably can't argue that. But Declan Rice has been an absolute game changer for Arsenal, in my opinion. He just covers every blade of grass, and he's getting to a stage now with his play where he kind of can do everything. He came into Arsenal Football Club, and we were all expecting just a really solid number six who was going to sit in front of that back four and just sweep up any kind of danger. And he's turned into so much more than that. You've got his set plays ability. You've got the fact that he covers every blade of grass. He does all of that defensive work that you expected of him, but he's now starting to get a lot more dangerous on the ball. He has some really great driving runs. He's got a good final pass in him, and he's starting to pop up in those areas where that Lampard-esque type of midfielder where he's popping up in the box and getting a couple of really vital goals here and there across the season. So I thought yesterday he was head and shoulders above everyone else on that pitch, and definitely deserved that goal. So we go in at halftime 2-0 up, incredibly comfortable, in my opinion, and I'm sure most of your opinions. Game was over by that point. It was just a case of either how many do we want to go and get, or are we going to kind of sit back and just kind of try and conserve some energy. And look, I'm not going to lie, the second half was a tough watch. But I think obviously as a fan watching the football, getting up at 1 a.m. to watch my football team, I want to see goals, I want to see excitement. But I think we're at a stage now with Arsenal where teams are so scared of what we can do that they play such a defensive mindset approach that if we're 2-0 up, why go take the risk? Why go take the risk and try and get a third and fourth goal when we know we're not going to concede? And I felt like that second half, I think our levels definitely dropped, but we never looked threatened. And it looked like we were playing in second gear for that second half, just passing the ball around. There wasn't a lot of energy being wasted by any particular player. And it was just a case of let's just get out of here with the 2-0 and move. And so, yeah, look, not one of the greatest games from an entertainment point of view, but I thought that first half was really encouraging. I thought everyone to a man did their job in that first half. I think Gyökeres coming off at halftime definitely impacted the way we kind of pressed from the front. I thought Marino just doesn't, he just simply doesn't offer what Gyökeres offers from a press point of view. And like I said, I think the players took their foot off the gas significantly, which then allowed Burnley to gain a little bit of confidence and get a little bit more of the ball, and it just turned into a bit of a scrappy second half, if I'm honest. As I said, Burnley didn't get anywhere near looking like they were going to score, except for that very last kick of the game, which was a wonderful free kick that hit the post. I am hearing that Raya got a tip to it, but either way, I think another game where not a single shot on target, which is just incredible. And look, our defence right now, I mean, I grew up with the Tony Adams, Sol Campbell, Martin Keown, Lee Dixon, Nigel Winterburn, Ashley Cole era, and that defence was incredible. And I think the only thing holding us back from putting this defensive unit on par with those types of players is the trophies. So if we get trophies this year and we continue to kind of move on from this season and win multiple trophies, this defense, in my opinion, should be spoken in the same regard. They are just exceptional. In terms of any other standouts, I can't name one, I don't think. I think Rice in Head and Shoulders was the best player on the pitch. I thought Gyökeres in that first half was really good. But outside of that, I thought the defensive line just did their thing without being particularly amazing. Zubimendi kept things moving. I thought Trossard was a little bit lively, but, didn't do anything particularly special. And if anything, I actually think he probably came off second best to Kyle Walker, which is a bit disappointing to say because I think Kyle Walker is well past his best. I thought Saka was incredibly poor by the high standards we set him. I thought he was really just ineffective. I thought Marino did very little when he came on. Nwaneri had a few good moments. Norgard had a good shot towards the end. It would have been nice to have seen him get his kind of first Premier League goal for Arsenal. But just another good, solid win. And that's all we need to do right now. We just need to keep getting wins in the bag. Liverpool managed to get a win. I did have a sneaky feeling they were going to win against Aston Villa. I know Liverpool are on a terrible run, and Villa are on a good run, but I just had a sneaky suspicion that Liverpool are just too good of a team. There's too many good players in that team for them to just completely spiral out of control. And I thought at home, after a couple of defeats, I was expecting them to kind of put a bit of a statement out there and get a win. And although I did watch the highlights, and that first half, it did look like Aston Villa had a few chances where if they could have got that first goal, I think that would have made that game really interesting. And it would have been interesting to see if Liverpool could have come back from a goal down. But they didn't have to worry about that. They came out pretty comfortable 2-0 winners. Chelsea obviously beat Tottenham at White Hart Lane, which was good to see because that meant Tottenham didn't get any closer to us, and now they're both sitting on 17 points, 7 points behind us. Or 8 points, is it? 8 points behind us. So, yeah, all in all, a good weekend from Arsenal. Hopefully Bournemouth can do something against Man City. That would be great to see. But at the end of the day, we're in a position now where it's completely in our hands. We just have to keep doing our job week in, week out, and it doesn't matter what the rest of the teams do. So I think we've done the hard work by putting ourselves in this position of having a nice lead over the two main title rivals in Man City and Liverpool. And now it's about just doing our job week in, week out, approaching every game like it's a cup final, approaching every game like it's a must win, and we just have to go out and do our job, and we should be in a good position. So, yeah, like I said, another great weekend for Arsenal. Not a game that we'll sit back and remember anytime soon, but nonetheless, an important 2-0 win away from home. Job done. Moving on to the next one. Bye.